Hey guys, so I am doing this vlog because I feel like it's actually kind of a super important vlog, and by that I mean this is something that every college freshman should know coming into their freshman year, and that is there are crazy professors. So I'm gonna tell you just one of my stories. I have multiple, and please don't get freaked out because this would freak me out. So the professor's name has been changed and the subject has been changed, so there's nothing that can relate back to him in any way, or her. We don't know because you won't know, only I know. So this was last week in my geology class, not actually geology, and his name is Dr. Gregory. That's his name for this one. That's not actually his name, that's just the name I'm gonna give him. So his name was Dr. Gregory. So I went by his office hours. I had been sick. If you can't tell, I've been sick a lot this freshman year. I get sick, like, I pull all-nighters, and so I think that that's a big thing of why I'm sick. I feel like if I didn't pull as many all-nighters, I wouldn't be sick as much, but that kind of just doesn't happen. So I pulled an all-nighter and I was throwing up the next day, so I missed lecture, which it was an attendance class. I didn't get any points taken away, so I was okay. And I took lecture notes, I took PowerPoint notes, book notes. I was like covered. So one of my good friends told me that they had a topic of discussion in class about gravity and how it wasn't real, or how he didn't believe in gravity. That was his wording, that he didn't believe in gravity. So I was like, I want to talk to this dude about why he doesn't believe in gravity. So I went by his office hours. I was like, yo, Dr. Gregory, I said, so I hear you don't think gravity is real. He blew up. He was like, how dare you misquote me? I said I didn't believe in gravity. Were you even in lecture? And I was like, no, I wasn't in lecture. I said I was sick. I have a doctor's note. I said, but I had heard that this was a topic of discussion. And he was like, how dare you misquote me? How dare you take my words out of context? And I just felt terrible. I felt super guilty for even having a conversation with him. I felt I had offended him in a very big way. So I just said, I'm sorry, Dr. Gregory. Please forgive me. I'm very sorry. And I just left, and I felt awful, and I cried. I texted all of my friends from high school. We have this big group chat about being college freshmen, and I was like, guys, I feel terrible. I was like, you're not gonna believe what just happened. My professor hates me. He's gonna fail me. I need this geology credit. Remember, not geology. And they were like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It'll be okay. I'm sure it'll be fine. Just make it through today, and tomorrow's a new day. So that was 11 o'clock in the morning, and I don't have his lecture until 1 o'clock that afternoon. So I get to lecture. I sit kind of towards the middle. I usually sit towards the front in all my classes just because face to name recognition is a big thing if you have a big lecture hall. But this class is sitting towards the middle with one of my good friends and sorority sisters. Also my informant, that's important, in a couple of minutes. So I sat down, and I'm early to class. I'm always 15 minutes early, and I start to get my notes out, and all of a sudden he comes up and he posts a PowerPoint slide about our encounter that morning. And this is a lecture hall of 250 students. He kept my name anonymous because I never gave him my name. I was just like, hey, so, you know, kind of like a casual thing. I was trying to be like sly. So he was like, let me tell you about a sad encounter I had this morning, and went through all of what I just told you took 15 minutes out of the 50-minute lecture, had 3 PowerPoint slides. Like, there were 3 separate PowerPoint slides about his encounter with me. He then polled the class to see if the wording was he didn't believe gravity was real or he didn't believe in gravity. That was the difference. And because I had misquoted him, he then was like, somebody, her informant, and he knew where I was sitting. He made eye contact with me the whole time. And my friend, her name's gonna be changed. Kristen. Her name's gonna be Kristen. That's not her actual name. She was like, oh my, like we're having like an oh crap moment, because this is something we need for both of our majors. Both want to go into graduate school. He's gonna fail us. He knew who my informant was. He knew who I was. And the fact that he publicly humiliated me, they didn't know, nobody knew that it was me, but I knew it was me. And I knew that I was getting laughed at and I was getting chastised because I made a simple mistake and misquoted him, and already got yelled at once, one-on-one with a professor, which is not a good feeling at all. Because I'm a really big people pleaser. That's the whole reason I went by his office hours, because I was like, I'm a people pleaser. I'm gonna like put my foot in the door, and I put my foot in my mouth, and I was like, this is great. You're doing great. Like the light. So after that happened, I felt miserable, and I was like, people need to know that in college, the professors, a lot of them, if they've been doing it long enough, have these massive God complexes, especially at a big university like UT, because they have tenure, or they've been doing it so long that nobody cares. Like, they just kind of give them free reign of whatever they want to do. And that's the case with Dr. Gregory. He has this massive God complex to where I was like, I am one student out of 250. I'm sorry I misquoted you. I was just trying to have a conversation during your office hours since nobody was there and you didn't look busy. So tips and advice for incoming freshmen: maybe just look on Rate My Professor and take those seriously. Like, actually take those seriously. And if you get publicly humiliated, understand you weren't the only one. That this chick is right there with you. And I'm not, I have good grades. I'm a straight A student. So, it doesn't matter who you are. It just matters that you mess up, and it's okay. I have to show my face in there 3 times a week. I sit in the same seat. He knows me. He doesn't really know my name. So, yeah.